It is a great day at Elkhart Community Schools. Welcome to our YouTube channel. I am your host, Daisy Davis. I am the president of the school board, and I am so honored that you're choosing to use part of your evening to be with us on this live event to promote the anti-bully assembly happening on May 12th at 6 p.m. at the freshman division. The purpose of that anti-bully assembly is to bring vital voices together to the table to create and sustain an effective plan to eliminate bullying wherever it appears for the safety and character development of our students. So today, this is going to be a live discussion. We have some great speakers on here. We're going to share some great information about our anti-bullying initiatives. We have representatives from Student Services and a representative that represents both CAPS and Triple P. We have Trisha, Lightfoot, Todd Kelly, and Natalie Bickel. I will let you guys introduce yourselves. Trisha, I'll let you go first since you're at the top of my screen.
Oh, thank you. I'm Trisha Lightfoot. I'm representing Triple P in Elkhart County, and Triple P is the positive parenting program here in the county. And I get the privilege and the honor to be one of the team leaders, so I get to support other practitioners as they work with families and they figure out how to serve families that in every unique situation. And I also get to work one-on-one with families kind of at that ground level, and I just enjoy every aspect of serving the community in that way.
Thank you, Trisha. And Trisha spends half of her time with Triple P and half of her time with CAPS. So she's going to do double duty tonight. She's going to do one presentation for Triple P and another presentation for CAPS. Next, we have Todd Kelly from Student Services. Todd, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hey, everybody. My name is Todd Kelly. I'm a behavior consultant for Student Services at Elkhart Community Schools. I work closely with the social emotional learning team and support bully prevention, trauma-informed care, restorative justice as we move forward in dealing with all the social-emotional things.
Thank you. And last but not least, we have Natalie Bickel. She is in charge of all of the social workers. She's a licensed clinical social worker herself, and I'll give her the floor so she can introduce herself also.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. I'm Natalie Bickel, Supervisor, Student Services, and the hat that I love the most is working with all the social workers in our district. We have a team of almost 30 people, so it's a big job and it's wonderful.
So I just want to thank the presenters for, again, you taking your time out to help us promote this event. Before we get started, I want to share the flyer for the anti-bullying assembly, and this flyer will also be available after the live is up and posted. You will be able to download this and share it. So here is the flyer. It's the Parent Anti-Bullying Assembly, May 12th, 6 p.m. at the freshman division. So if you want to get that flyer, wait till after the recording is posted. We will also have the contact information for our guest presentators there underneath the description. You can get the flyer. So we're just excited to get started with this presentation. So here's a little bit about the format. Each presenter will give you a presentation. I'm going to follow up with some questions. Questions I know you guys are going to think about and want to know. So I'm taking notes during these presentations, and I'll make sure you get all the information that you need afterwards. Again, this will be posted. You can attend the rally May 12th. We'll have light refreshments and translators. So this is something you don't want to miss. It's a way for you to get to know the resources that we have in our community and get to know the programs that we use to support our students and families in the district. So we're going to kick this off. We're going to let Trisha go first. She's going to give you a presentation about Triple P.
Thanks. So I just want to give a quick introduction. What is Triple P when I refer to Triple P? And Triple P is, again, the positive parenting program. And this is a community-wide approach to support and serve all families in Elkhart County. It doesn't matter if you've got little ones, kids with disabilities, if you've got teenagers, it really doesn't matter. It's here for all families. And Triple P really works really hard to make sure that parents feel connected and confident when they meet, like they're taking care of their kids. Because most parents, I can only speak for myself here, like I want to be connected with my kids. I want to be confident as I parent my children and launch them into adulthood. And that's what Triple P is all about. How can I be confident and competent in the here and now as I deal with everyday life? Because my kids didn't come with manuals, and that's okay. We can accept and love our kids for who they are, where they're at every stage. But what do I do when I don't know what to do? And that's where Triple P comes in. It's for all parents. And we come in many different ways to work with families in whatever style and setting fits that family. And that's one of my most favorite things about Triple P, is the fact that not only do I use this stuff myself with my kids, and I have for years, and I've seen the results, I've seen it work with myself and many other families, is the fact that it's unique to fit every family with wherever the family's at. So if somebody wants to come join a group, they can join a group. If they like group discussions, group setting, they want to expand their social network, come to a group. If you're not feeling secure in that, or you just don't have the transportation or whatever, if you'd rather talk one-on-one with somebody, then we do that. And we meet with you one-on-one in a place where you're comfortable, in a setting where it's really conducive for your learning and your parenting and family needs. And I love that. It's really flexible, and it works with families in different ways, not only in the physical setting, but also in the length of time we work with families. So we have workshops, we have seminars, we have brief interventions where it's a one-time thing. There's other times we meet with families for maybe a month. And then there's other times where we can work with family for like a year. It's all dependent on what the family wants, where their needs are at, and where their goals are set. So Triple P is really flexible. But the best part that I love the most, which I love Triple P at totally, is the fact that we as practitioners like myself, we don't come in to nitpick a family. That is never our goal. Our goal is to come in to a family who wants to work with us, and we first help them re-identify the strengths that their family has, to remind them that they are good parents, they are strong parents, they are advocating for their kids, and they love their kids, and they're prioritizing their family. Once we've done that, then we move into helping the parents rediscover, like, how can I connect with my child even more to strengthen my relationship with them? Because the relationship factor is really key in addressing any challenging behaviors that are happening in your child. Because the challenging behaviors often tell us that something's missing, some sort of a need is not being met. So we first want to do as much as we can to fill those gaps by focusing on that parent-child relationship and building that up, rebuilding that trust factor and the love factors there. Once we do that, then we move into encouraging appropriate behaviors, and the parents start to create a parenting plan to address whatever their chosen goal is. So we work on creating and teaching new skills, new behaviors, and then we move into management strategies. And this format is very strategic because Triple P is an evidence-based program, and that strategy is proven to work. Focus on strengthening the family, focus on identifying where they're already doing really well as a parent, help them set goals on how to strengthen that relationship. Then we work on teaching new skills. Then we work on modifying misbehaviors, because oftentimes the misbehaviors get taken care of down here at the beginning stages. Not always, but quite frequently. And if they don't, no big deal. We create a plan to address that misbehavior and get it taken care of. And we get to walk with families through this journey for as much as the parents and the families invite us to walk with them. So we don't take over, we don't tell them what to do. The parents always provided a menu of options, and then they choose the strategies that they feel are going to best fit their family's needs. And that's what I really like, because it's not a cookie cutter method. It's what the parents want to focus on, what they think will work. And if they tell me, like, nope, I think that's a really dumb idea, I don't like that, or that traumatized me as a child, then we don't do it. And it's not a big deal, because there's several other options out there for them to choose from. So yeah.
Oh, thank you, Trisha. You brought up so many interesting things. The first question I want to ask, though, I know a strong part of the Triple P program is your anti-bullying program. So can you share a little bit about that program and how you facilitate it? What are some of the intervention strategies you give to parents to help them support their kids if they're going through that situation?
Absolutely. Thanks. And we can do this in a couple different ways. And May 18th, I'll just put a little plug in here, we're going to actually have a workshop to go for a full hour. Parents can come meet with us virtually May 18th, and we go through what we call a tip sheet. And Triple P loves tip sheets because we always want parents to walk away with something. So this is 4 pages of information for parents to work with their child, to work with their teenager on addressing bullying. So anytime we do any sort of a worksheet with a parent, whether it's a one-time worksheet or workshop, either one of those, it's always going to be in that same format. First, we're going to identify what exactly is this challenge. So what is bullied? What is being bullied? What does it mean to be a bully? Then we're going to explore, like, why is this happening? What causes it? What are some of the effects that our child could be feeling, and how is that affecting the rest of their life? And then we're going to move straight into prevention strategies, because as a parent, we can really only control what we have control over in ourselves and in our direct family. So we're going to work on a lot of prevention. How do we equip our children, our teenagers, to deal with bullying as much as we can? And then we're going to talk about management strategies if that is happening. And there is also a portion here talking about solutions. So if you've tried everything else, what can you do as a plan B? Because we always want to make sure that we have a contingency plan, because life is unpredictable and this is a really weighty subject and it's always different for every situation. So we want to be aware of that and provide, again, that menu of options. Here's a bunch of strategies and ideas that could work. Which ones do you think are going to best fit your unique situation for your child? And then we also even have a small portion for if your child happens to be the aggressor here. What are you going to do to help your child not be the aggressor? So we don't want to do this to shame families if their child's the victim or the aggressor, and we don't want to put labels out there as much as possible, but we want to provide as many strategies as we can to the families, no matter which side of the scale their child is on. How do we help our kids be productive members of society so they can be the best version of themselves? And that's what this is all about. So I do want to give 2 quick tips, though, if I can.
Yes, you can, definitely.
Okay, I want parents to walk away with something. And again, May 18th, you're going to get all of the strategies if you guys choose to come. But 2 quick tips I'd love to give you guys is the fact that invite your child to share with you. Invite some conversation if they are feeling bullied or frustrated, or you're just seeing some warning signs of maybe something's not quite right with this friendship. So encourage them to share and then listen. And when I say listen, I mean actively listen. We close our mouths as a parent and we just listen. No interruptions, not telling them how they should feel, not telling them what they should do, just listen. And then listen with your whole body. Like, use your body language, like be calm, be relaxed, be open, maybe sit on the couch. And when you are giving a little bit of feedback, make sure that your voice is calm and non-threatening, which is really hard, especially as a mom, when that mama bear rises up, But we want to be that safe space for them to share, because the home should always be the safest place for them. So make sure as much as possible you can be that calm and safe space in person. And when you get that chance to give some feedback, use those reflective listening skills. So summarize what the problem was. So when you're summarizing, pull together all the facts. Stick to the facts as much as you possibly can, the facts of their story, and then identify and name the feelings that you think they are feelings or that they said they're feeling, because we want to validate those emotions. We want to let them know they're being heard. And then wrap it all up as nice as you can and just acknowledge the steps they have already taken to try and avoid the situation. If they're walking away and not talking back and instigating any more conversation, if they're going to tell the teacher, if they're always going to the bathroom with a friend, whatever it may be, any proactive steps your child has taken to get out of that situation, praise their efforts, help build up their confidence, and let them know that this is a team effort and you're supported.
Trisha, you've said so many amazing things. I don't even have time to ask you all the questions. 2 things that stood out to me the most: for parents to stay calm. Like you said, when you get in that mama bear mode and you see your kids hurting, it is hard to keep your cool because you want to protect your kids. You want to go full mama bear mode. So I know that's difficult for parents to do. So is part of your training to help parents develop those skills, how to stay calm in those situations? And 2, what are some of the warning signs that parents can look out for? Because that can be very confusing for parents too, to know what those signs are when their kids are struggling, because sometimes those signs get overlooked.
They do. They do. And yes, we address some of the strategies parents can use to stay calm. And if in the workshop, if you guys join in, you don't feel like that's enough, we do have other workshops that address that even more so with parents. Because again, every situation is unique. Every parent's style for using coping skills and what coping skills those are going to be unique as well. So again, Triple P tailors itself to meet every family wherever they're at. And the warning signs, this one's kind of hard to answer because every child's so different. Their personalities are different. The way they engage with people can be different. So as a parent, I encourage you to be tuned in, to pay attention, to look, to listen. Is your child all of a sudden being really shy where they weren't shy before? Are they all of a sudden wanting to avoid certain social situations where maybe they always used to love that? Are they appearing more anxious and fearful of things? Are they trying to avoid different situations again? Refusing to go to school, refusing to go to one class, always skipping one class. If you find out they're always tardy for a class, maybe if you're figuring out that instead of going straight to class, they're taking a detour, taking the long way to class. Like, start to ask some questions, start to look for some answers, pay attention. Sometimes it's ripped clothing, ripped bags, things are missing from their backpack because they've been stolen from the bully. Just be curious, be aware, pay attention. And Todd and Natalie, if I've missed anything, feel free to point it out. But there's just a lot of things we can look for, but this is where the parent's expertise really comes into play. Every parent is the expert on their child.
That's right.
So pay attention to that intuition and those gut feelings. Those are really vital as parents.
Yeah, that's good. It's a couple of things that I thought about that came to mind. They start to isolate, maybe spend more time in their room. Their sleeping patterns may change. Their eating habits may change. Typically, when people get frustrated or scared, those are some of the first things people do. They stop eating. They spend more time by themselves. So you parents, you guys are the experts, like she said, on your kids. Notice when things are changing and then reach out to the student, to their friends, to the district, to their teachers, and find out if there's anything happening that you don't know about. We want this to be a partnership between us, the district, and you, the parents, so we can support your kids, our families, and our communities the best way we can. And so just to wrap up, here are some things that I love that you said, that you help parents be confident and competent. I love that. I love that you said you walk with the parents through the issue. You don't judge them. It reminded me of the what is the gym called? They say the no bully zone, where nobody is judged and you can be yourself. That's what that reminded me of. You walk with the parents and you don't judge them. So 2 things to end. If parents want to be more involved after this presentation or even after your event on May 18th, how do they get involved? And can you give your contact information? We want to make sure this information is in the description of the YouTube link so that you guys have the resources you need to continue your journey to support your kids.
Thanks. Yeah, if parents want to get involved in our community events or they'd like to promote and come alongside the Triple P team, they can go to elkhartcountyparents.org. They can visit us there. We've got lots of events, radio recordings, YouTube recordings. We've got a lot of instant, quick tips on there parents can reference and refer to. And if you're not comfortable going online, it is in both English and Spanish. You can call our bilingual phone line, and this is 574-226-0160.
So Tech is taking these notes. So just say the website and the phone number one more time. I want to make sure that documented.
ElkhartCountyParents.org, and the phone line is 574-226-0160.
Awesome. And then give the information about your May 18th event, the date, the time, how they get the virtual link.
All of that is not set in stone yet. I don't have it in my notes. I apologize. But we will be having a virtual event May 18th. And this is going to be in the evening. It will be both English and Spanish. And you can, again, go to ElkhartCountyParents.org. That's where you will find the link to the meeting. And we will have flyers out and distributed along to the schools very soon. So that should be going out next week and for sure at the rally itself.
Thank you so much. And you guys, they're going to send me the flyer. And so we'll make sure that we get it posted to the district media outlets and also add it to the description of this YouTube live event. So thank you so much, Trisha, for all of that valuable information about Triple P. Up next is Todd Kelly. He handles our training and initiatives for the district's anti-bully training. So I'm going to give him the floor now, and he will share what's going on with the district initiatives and what the plans are for the future.
Okay, thanks, Daisy. What I want to do is just kind of give you the 30,000-foot view, and so we can kind of get a picture of what's happening. I want to give you a little bit of history of where the corporation has been on bullying, kind of where we're at now and where we're headed. I think a couple important things about the history is several years ago, the corporation decided to adopt the OVAS bullying prevention program. And at that point, every school in the corporation was trained. The training model is that the school creates a leadership team, and the leadership team is trained. They go through a 2-day training, and then the leadership team trains their own staff. And so they build in support on the school level. And so that happened and worked well, but that was several years ago. The other thing that happened was a few years ago, we purchased Sprigio.com, and some of you are familiar with that. Some of you may have never heard of it. The quick and easy way to get to Sprigio.com is it's in the center of our homepage on the Elkhart Community Schools website, and that is an anonymous way to report bullying. We get reports for all sorts of different things. Bullying is the main objective, but we also hear about students. A peer may report that they're aware of somebody self-harming or talking about harming themselves and whatnot. So that's a really good tool to use. Once we get a report, it kicks in the protocol for the investigation, which is the third thing that I wanted to mention. Is about 6 years ago, corporation realized that we really didn't have a consistent way of investigating once a bullying incident is reported. So half a dozen administrators got together, worked closely with the attorney's office of our corporation, but also hired a consultant who was a national expert, an attorney in bullying and in schools, and they created this. You probably can't read that, but it's the how-to manual for bullying investigation, and it has the whole protocol for what happens when a bully report takes place, whether it's through Sprigio or whether it's through just a student or a parent telling an administrator about a bullying incident. So those things happened several years ago, and one of the things that we have come to realize is that 6 or 7 years is a long time in a school, and a lot of people come and go during that time, and so we're at a place now where we need to look at retraining everyone especially in the investigation protocol. So the administrator and their designee will be trained again in that investigation protocol to make sure that there's someone in every school that addresses that appropriately. And then I'll get in a minute to kind of where we're headed, but looking at training again throughout the whole corporation. I wanted to touch base a little bit about the OVAS program itself. This guy named Dan Olweus, Olweus, he was a researcher and had a bullying incident that happened in his family. It was a nephew, and he ended up being really unhappy with the fact that there really was, this was in the 70s. There was no research. Nobody really knew what worked and what didn't work. And so he dedicated his professional life to researching bullying and program development, and came up with the Oveus Bullying Prevention Program that's very well researched and has a lot of data behind it. There's going to be lots of overlap between the Oveus program and the program that Trisha was talking about. Even the little bit that she spoke to that is real consistent with this program. But it has 4 main components. It actually started out with 3 components and added a 4. But the components are school-based or school-wide, where they do initiatives for the whole school, classroom, and then individual. And what they realized after a few years into this is that they had to add a community-based component, which really has honestly been our weak point over the years in developing the community part of the program. So the school-wide, real quick, the school-wide is just establishing a team, a leadership team at the school, getting trained, and then training all staff. And it's not just teaching staff, it's bus drivers, custodial staff. So everyone's on board has the same language when talking about bullying. Then we also have a bullying questionnaire that every student takes, grades 3 through 12. Every student has taken it every year up until it got kind of thrown off with COVID, and we missed a couple years, and we're scheduled now to do it in December again. But it's a questionnaire that every student takes, and from that we learn from the kids, where is bullying taking place, who is doing it, how often is it happening, and what kind of bullying is happening. It's just really good information that we can then take back to school leadership and say, okay, here's what's happening now, and now we have several years of this data, so we can look at what we've been doing and what's working and what's not working. And an example of what comes out of that is I can think of, this is several years ago, but there was a stairway that kids had figured out that the cameras didn't reach. And so there was some bad stuff that was happening in those stairways that nobody really knew about. And so we change how we do supervision. We sit down and say, okay, who's going to cover? We know from the kids when it's happening. And we also know that if there are adults around and the adults are going to do something about bullying behavior, behavior goes way down. And so we want to put our people in the right place based on that data. So the school-wide stuff includes parental involvement, where we can have, some schools have had parent advisory teams. We're going to encourage a parent advisory team on a corporation level. You'll hear more about that on the 12th. But a strong presence school-wide. And then classroom. The biggest issue with the classroom is we have there's the 4 bullying rules that we have posted everywhere, but in the classroom, teachers are encouraged to have class meetings, brief meetings once a week or once every other week, where they're dealing with bullying issues. They're building community amongst their students and creating the environment that we want for good learning. And then the individual piece, and that's where every staff member is trained to know what to do in case of bullying, and the students know what to do if there's bullying that takes place, or if they're hearing about somebody that's getting bullied or going to get bullied or whatnot, and make sure that there's communication that is easily obtainable. They will, on the individual basis, when there is the protocol takes place and bullying happens, parents get involved. They are to be contacted, both the parents of the student with bullying behavior and the student who has been bullied, and then they deal with that accordingly with whatever discipline that needs to take place, but also with a safety plan to make sure that needs are being met and that the bullying doesn't continue. And then the fourth one, on a community level, just involving community members, parents, agencies that desire to help, so that we're all on the same page. And that really comes out of a need for services in our community. You know, students aren't just students in the classroom; they're also neighbors, and they go to your church, and they shop where you shop, and in the summertime they don't go to school. And so it's important to have all of us in an effort and on the same page, using the same language in bully prevention to make that happen. And then, as far as where are we going from here? A couple of things that have come up that's guiding what we want to do. We've kind of realized that we needed to add a level of, as we go through kind of a level of folks involved. We're going to start a safe schools team, and that will consist of, on the district level, that will consist of one person from every school that's either an administrator or their designee. So that's about 20 people. And that person will become the face in the school for bully prevention. And so I will work with them. We'll talk about what training issues are needed. We'll talk about what resources we need to have, and make sure that they know this protocol, and so that when issues come up, whether it's training issues, bullying issues, or whatnot, there's a face of someone in the school that has what they need to help. And we are going to be sitting down with them, talking about what are your training needs. Do we need to start over and do the entire training with your staff? Do you just need things to brush up and whatnot with the protocol? Who's in charge? And just to make sure that all those things are in place and ready to go.
Thank you, Todd, for that information. I want to make sure we save enough time for Natalie, who represents the social workers, and then Trisha will circle back around and do CAPS. A couple of quick questions. What specifically does that OVAS program look like? Can you give us some of the steps that happens if and when somebody reports an incident? Can you give us quickly a little bit more about the inner workings of that program and how it flows through the process?
Yeah, so there's kind of two different things that it's important to understand. The OVAS program really is the prevention piece. That's the classroom presentations, the class meetings that teachers have, the developing of an environment where everyone knows what bullying is and what bullying isn't, and working on prevention. The protocol, I think, really is more what your question is, of what happens when somebody reports bullying. And
so from me as a parent, I'm thinking of parents listening. They want to know, if my kid reports something, what happens? Does it go to the principal? Does it go here? What happens? Those practical steps. As a parent, how do I know? I want the parents to know what that process looks like as their child moves through this program or our
program. Okay. So when we get a bullying report, and if it comes through Sprigio, I get that report. there are 3 people in student services that get it, just so we have eyes on that. And the principal and their designee, whoever they want in the school, gets that report. So with Sprigeo, we encourage people to use Sprigeo because that kind of starts a paper trail and starts the protocol. There's a person in the school. When they follow the protocol, they will, with whatever information they have, they start to pull kids out and talk with them to find out what's going on, gather as much information as they can, and then they are responsible to contact the parents of both the person who is being bullied and the person being bullied, and then go from there. If it is definitely a bullying situation, then there will be discipline that happens. And one of the things that I have found that people find a little frustrating is if their student is being bullied, sometimes it feels like the school didn't do anything because they weren't told what disciplinary action had taken place. It's against the law for us to give that information, so we can't give details. We certainly can let you know that it's being dealt with, what we're doing to make sure that it's going to be a safe place. But if there are certain levels of discipline that's happening with a student that's not your student, we can't share that information. But whoever is doing that investigation or the principal should be contacting the parent to let them know what has happened and what they're doing to make sure that everyone is going to be safe.
Okay, thank you. We are out of time for Todd's portion, but if you guys want more detailed information, because I know we're giving you a higher level, this is what this for, is to give you a taste of what the information you'll get from the anti-bullying assembly on May 12th. So if you need more information, you want more information, you want to be involved, the first half of that anti-bullying assembly is going to be just a general assembly, and the second half, they're going to break out into small discussion groups. So if you need more information, you just didn't learn quite what you wanted, you want to make sure you're at the anti-bullying assembly on May 12th, 6 p.m. at the freshman division. So we're going to keep this moving. We have 20 minutes left. So Natalie, you have a strong 10 minutes because we want to leave at least 10 minutes per cap. So Natalie is in charge of the social workers, and she's going to give you the point of view of the social workers and how they come alongside the parents and the students during these situations to support them.
Thanks, Stacy. So the social work team, they're specifically trained to recognize bullying. The team, they're master level social workers, they're licensed social workers. We have several that are licensed clinical social workers. So their training, their background is to observe those behaviors and to follow up on those behaviors. And, a lot of times it comes to, is it conflict or is it bullying? And that's difficult sometimes, to establish which one it is. And so when I was preparing for this Facebook Live, I asked a few of my team members, define it for me. What's conflict? What's bullying? And they pretty much said the exact same thing with different, words. And what essentially they said is conflict can be an argument, a disagreement. People just don't really like each other. They don't get along. For whatever reason, there's a clash. And it goes back and forth. It goes both ways. It's not one-sided. And that's how they were identifying the conflict. Bullying is an imbalance of power. And that is when, if it's a repeated targeted behavior that continues, if the victim is feeling isolated and alone, that's bullying. And I just thought that was interesting. I wanted to bring that up because I think sometimes it's hard, for staff, for kids who are reporting, for parents who are reporting, which is a conflict and which is bullying. So how it works on the social work side is when a situation comes through, if it's Sprigeo, if it's a student that is meeting with the social worker and letting them know that their friend's getting bullied and, people are not being very nice. The social worker will then call down that student independently and talk with them. What's going on? Gather information. And it's really important for them to ask the student, when is it happening? Where is it happening? Are other students involved? Are there witnesses? Is it a group? Is it one person? So they're just trying to figure out, the situation. And another key factor is that they are asking the student, have you told anyone else? Do any other adults know? Do staff know? Do your parents know? Do any family members know? Like, are you discussing this? And it's so important for kids that are getting bullied that they are talking to someone. If it's not the school, that they are, they're comfortable enough to have those discussions, because ultimately the goal is to keep everyone safe. And what victims don't want is to have attention drawn to them. So a lot of times they're isolating and they're not talking about it because they don't want to make it worse. They don't want to make the problem bigger by discussing it. So once they go through that process, now they're going to explain to the student what the investigation would look like. And, that's another little bit of difficulty, because students often feel they're going to know I said something. They're going to know I told. They're going to, don't say anything. I don't want you to call them down. And again, the team is trained so well that they know we're not going to call them down right after we just talked to you. We're going to space it out a little bit. They're not going to know you specifically told me something unless they're guilty. Like, there's only one person who would know what's going on. But they're very good about keeping that situation confidential when they're talking to the person that is being accused of bullying. And then the social worker will staff the situation with an administrator, if that's the academic dean, the vice principal, the principal, and the administration is then in charge of the discipline side of things. So once they kind of figure out they want different eyes on the situation, am I being biased to this? It sounds like bullying to me, or, am I missing something here? And the administrator, then there's consequences for the bully. If it's a repeated offense, if it's a conflict, we're probably not going to call home unless it's a significant, conflict. Then we're going to let the parents know. If it is a bully situation, the parents absolutely of both parties would be contacted, and the situation would be discussed. And I'm trying to think of other, I'm not as spot on as Trisha and Todd over here, so I'm trying to read my notes. The other thing that the social workers were telling me, that it's very important to keep that open communication with the teachers in the school and staff. And that's not to put people's dirty laundry out there. It's to keep eyes and ears on the students and on the situation, because one person, if they're aware of it, they can't watch the kids all day long. So they'll usually send out an email and just say, here's brief explanation of the situation. Please be vigilant. Please keep an eye. And then the social workers also try to make themselves present and visual in those unstructured times, or when the bullying is taking place, just to be like, hey, I got my eyes on you a little bit, maybe just those nonverbals would de-escalate the situation. And then a lot of times with these situations, the social workers, they're utilizing curriculum that they have established from the Elkhart County Comprehensive Counseling Initiative that goes through classroom lessons, the Monique Burr Foundation, which is another countywide initiative that has been brought to, I'm sure Trisha is going to mention it, but that is a countywide approach, and we're using the same language at all the schools, which is so important when it comes to just safety and bullying. And so they're doing those classroom lessons, but if there is a student that is getting bullied, or somebody that is the bully, they're going to work with them if it's individually, if it's in a group setting, on social skills, on reteaching friendship skills, what it means to be a good friend. And, words do hurt. It sticks and stones break bones, but words hurt you really bad too. And so just reteaching some of those skills. And, the bully side of things, it's a loss of privilege. So if they're doing those behaviors in the cafeteria, they don't get to go in the cafeteria anymore, or they're suspended from school, or, they have to get an evaluation of some sort. So those are some of the, protocols that we follow. And then when it comes to, they just need a little bit more, we're going to talk with the families about referring out for services. And that's therapeutic services. It could be counseling, it could be therapy, it could be mediation with CCJ. Our social workers do a lot of the mediation, but in a true bullying situation, you do not want to put the bully and the victim together. So it's just some of those things that we have to tread lightly until we know the entire situation to see what they need. We also partner with community agencies. Elkhart County is so rich in agencies. We're so lucky to have so many different community partners. And, one of those would be Girls on the Run, and that's just about self-confidence and feeling good and, kids coming together for the good of the cause. So there's a ton of resource that we do. And it's what Trisha and Todd were saying. The parent involvement is so important. If a lot of our reports are from the parents, and they're the first line of communication, they're the ones that the kids are coming to. And, they may not feel safe at the school to say, this is what's happening. And so we encourage those phone calls, and we want those phone calls, because if we don't know about it, we can't do anything about it. And don't feel like you're bothering us. That's our job. That's our job, to keep your baby safe and, to make sure that those situations are dealt with. The cyber, there's a lot of those online cyber things. Again, it's so difficult as school personnel to be aware of those kind of things if it's not during school hours. So please keep those lines of communication open. And if you're not getting answers, call student services. People, for the most part, do a great job in the district responding and getting back to you. But there are occasions where that human error, that email goes down the line, or that phone call isn't returned. And we'll lead you on the right way and do whatever we can to help out.
Thank you, Natalie. What the overarching theme is from all of the resources we talked about is that we care about the families. We care about the students. You guys don't have to suffer alone. We're here for you. We have resources. But the biggest thing we want to encourage you to do is be an ally or an advocate for people around you. If you see something that doesn't look right, doesn't feel right, your friend or family member is going through something, tell somebody, because we can't help what we don't know about. So don't go it alone. We have you. We got you. We got the resources you need. Just let us know how, when we can support you, and we have the resources you need. So we have about 12 minutes left. So Trisha spends half of her time with CAPS. So she's going to give us a CAPS overview.
Thanks again. So on the CAPS side of things, that is Child and Parent Services here in Elkhart County. In my role at CAPS, there is the Parent Support Specialist. So this is boots on the ground, one-on-one services with families and group interventions. And this is where I really get to use all of my skills, and I get to see all the fun things happen in families as they implement change. And CAP's mission is to support families to ensure that every child lives a life free of abuse and neglect. This goes through many different pathways or programs at CAPS across the board. And three of the different ways we can do this is through our community education program, our parent aid program, and then we have a family resource navigator. And that center is where, if parents don't know what to do, you just call CAPS 574-295-2277. You ask to talk with a family resource navigator, and you only have to talk to one person to figure out maybe where you should go, instead of having to play phone tag with 16 different people to figure out what resource for the community is best for you in CAPS or outside of CAPS. So that's one of the great ways that we can serve families to meet their needs. So if parents are concerned about something and they want Triple P, they want Monique Burr, like darkness to light, something, like we can help them figure it out. And one of the things that I really appreciate about CAPS as I've been working there, they are leaning more and more towards using only evidence-based materials and programs. This is really strategic, not just on the database side of things for grants and donations, but also because we know it works. It's like proven through the science, through the data. And the best part about that on the parent end, on the receiving end, is I can know as a mom, my time is not being wasted with just somebody sharing their opinion or ideas on what they think could work for my family. But instead, I know that that information that any program at CAPS is sharing with me is providing you valid information that has been proven to work, whether, again, that's in a one-on-one format or a group format. And I can really appreciate that as a parent, having benefited from some of the different things I've learned from CAPS. But I want to piggyback on what Natalie was sharing earlier, because she mentioned Monique Burr. This is really cool, very critical, and I'm really happy to say that this is in all 7 school districts in Elkhart County. So it's not just Elkhart schools, it's all 7 school districts. So all of our kids are learning to talk and speak that same language, just like Todd was saying. We want everybody to be using that same vocabulary. So this is little kids all the way through 12th grade. They're all getting the same thing. And it's modified for their level, so for their understanding. So it graduates as they graduate and gets more in depth and helps them understand how things are a little bit different and how they can set boundaries in a vocabulary and terms and rationale that's relevant to them and their age. So we don't have to be fearful as parents that our kids are learning things that we don't want them to learn about or hear about or know how to identify. We're making it safe and it's all age appropriate. And again, it's evidence-based. And this is based on, I'm going to throw out a fancy term here, polyvictimization research. Okay, and that essentially is the fancy term for saying a child's been a victim multiple times in multiple different ways. Verbal abuse, emotional abuse, physical abuse, bullying, and cyberbullying. And that's probably not even the whole thing, but it just means many different ways that they've been victimized. In the Monique Burr Foundation, this really focuses on helping the child learn the 5 safety rules, and it's a framework. So we want the kids to know what's up. So talking with your child, allowing questions. Second one, spotting some red flags, teaching them about body safety and boundaries, personal boundaries here. The third one's making a move. This is advocating for your child if you suspect something is happening to them. So again, the responsibility to keep a child safe is on us, the adults. It's always on us. So listen to your children, advocate for them. You are the safest place for them. Okay, so make that move. The fourth one is to talk it up. So just like Daisy was saying earlier, we have to talk with others, advocate, and make other people aware that it's important to keep children safe. And then the fifth one is no shame, no blame. Let your child know that it's never their fault if they're the victim. Okay, it's the adult's responsibility to keep that child safe. So we want to instill these 5 safety rules in our children so they know that it's always best to go to an adult, find that safe adult, identify that safe adult, because unfortunately sometimes it's not in the home. But through the curriculum, the Monique Burr materials, the children are learning how to identify a safe person. Who's that safe teacher? Who's that safe mentor? Maybe it's auntie, maybe it's grandma. It doesn't matter. We just have to help them figure out who is that safe person in their life. And this, for parents, I really want everybody to walk away with something. I encourage you to visit the Monique Burr website. It's a really complicated website. I apologize, but it's mbfpreventioneducation.org. And if you go on there, they have a lot of free resources that parents can access right here, right now. So you can go on there and you can find ways to protect your child from bullying in the school. They've got beautiful tip sheets and worksheets, lots of information. And then they also have a lot of things on cyberbullying and cyber safety and digital safety courses, because bullying isn't just at home. A lot of us learned this even through COVID, through everything going virtual and social media through the roof. The bullying didn't stop. Okay, it just got more creative. So as parents, if you're tech native or, you're grandfathered into the tech world, wherever you're at in your tech journey, they have a lot of really helpful resources to help us navigate the cyberbullying and cyber safety stuff that we need to be aware of, because our children have instant access to the entire world and it's not always safe. We want to trust our children. However, there's a lot of things out there that are really tempting, and it's hard to say no to. So as parents, we have to take that step to protect our children, and that takes us educating ourselves and then taking that step forward to move to protect them, even when things feel uncomfortable. So I encourage parents, look into Monique Burr if you're wanting some instant stuff right now today. Everything's right there online. If you want to connect with the program at CAPS or to connect with Triple P through CAPS, you can visit us at frn@capselkhart.org, or you can call our phone line 574-295-2277.
Thank you, Trisha. What I love about everything that you guys presented, that there is something for everyone. You have something to support the parents. You have something to support the person who is the bully. You have something to support the person who is being bullied. So nobody is left out. I love no blame, no shame. We are supporting everybody through this process. Everybody has a story. Everybody has something they've been through. We've learned through data and experience that behavior is a form of communication. Look at the behavior your child is exhibiting and try to dig a little bit deeper and find out where are these changes coming from. Tell somebody, give us a call, report it so we can help you with the resources you need. Again, this was a preview of what you can experience at the Anti-Bully Assembly on May 12th at 6 p.m. at the Freshman Division. The purpose of the Anti-Bullying Assembly is to bring vital voices to the table to create and sustain a plan to eliminate bullying wherever it happens for the safety and character development of our students. So come. If you're available, we would love to see you. We will be connecting with parents. If any of you are interested in partnering with the district in our anti-bullying efforts, we'll love to talk to you at that rally. We are going to try to put together some committees or some additional events, and we want to come together with you because we want to know what you need, and we want to partner with you to help keep our school system safe, to help keep the kids safe and in school. We have 3 minutes left, so I want to give everybody an opportunity. One final takeaway, the most important thing you want the viewers to come away from. Quick lightning round. So Natalie's looking away, so I'm going to do her last. So Trisha, you went last. You're going to go first. What's the final takeaway you want people to know?
Know that you have power in your voice. As a parent, as a support for your child, there is power in your voice. So use it.
Thank you. Use your voice, parents. That's great advice. Todd, what is the final takeaway you want our audience to know?
This has been said enough, I guess, but just one more time, we need you guys. The puzzle is a missing piece if we don't have parents and community involved. The school is really limited in what they can do without you, so let's do it together.
That's right. We are better together. So come with your ideas, come with your resources, come with your support. We are ready to partner with you, and we want to see you at the Anti-Bully Assembly on May 12th. Natalie, last but not least, what is your biggest takeaway that you want people to remember from today?
Yeah, my biggest takeaway would be that you, as the parent, know your child better than anyone, and use us, the school, the community agencies, as resources to help in anything. We are, again, the county's rich in resources, but the school really can navigate you the right direction if necessary. So you can tell us a little bit of the story, a lot of the story, whatever it may be, whatever your comfort level is. But if we don't know, we can't help. So if you let us know, we will find you some services or some answers.
Thank you so much for all of the valuable information. There was a lot for parents to dig into, even more that you can dig into and participate. Again, it's the Anti-Bully Assembly on May 12th, 6 p.m. at the freshman division. Translation will be available. Light refreshments will be available. The first half will be a general assembly. The second half will be small group discussion. So parents, students, community members, we welcome everybody to come. We need you to partner with us in our anti-bullying efforts. The district is taking this very seriously. We love and care about every student, every parent, all of our community members, and we want you to know we are committed to this process to make our schools safe and engaging for our students. We are right at 7:30. So remember, this video recording will be up on the district YouTube page. Share it. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. So every time we put out new information, you will be notified. And I want to give Todd and Natalie really quick an opportunity to share your contact information so that also can be put in the description underneath this video.
Best way to get a hold of me is email tkelly, tkelly at elkhart.k12.in.us. Or you can call student services as well. Natalie, I don't have the main number for student services. So you can give that to them.
Yep, I'll give it to them. So my phone number is 574-262-5725. And I can throw something over to Todd if you just want to call that number. We unfortunately do not have voicemails, but it is a live call. So if you do not get myself or Todd, you will get a secretary that will take a message and we will call you back. My email is nbickel@elkhart.k12.in.us.
Awesome. Thank you guys again for joining us. We will continue to have these live discussions to provide information, resources, or to promote future events. So again, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, share this video, and don't forget to attend the Anti-Bullying Assembly May 12th at 6 p.m. at the freshman division. Can't wait to see you there. It's in 2 weeks on a Thursday. Thanks again for joining us. And until next time, we will see you later. It's been a great day at Elkhart Community Schools, and we hope to see you next time.
Record.